Welcome to Simple Gardening. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about square foot gardening and why I am choosing to square foot garden this year. I may have a helper right there, Pebbles, and she's going to be my helper today. So have fun. Today we're going to be talking about square foot gardening and why I am deciding to choose to square foot garden in my garden this year. I am taking 10 principles from the Mel Bartholomew book called Square Foot Gardening. This is an amazing book. So I will put the link below on Amazon to get this. I've bookmarked, I've highlighted pages. I think it's amazing. So this is where I'm taking my 10 principles of square foot gardening, and I want to share them with you and a little bit about each principle as they are. The first principle is plant densely. I'm not going to say this enough. I said it in my last video. I don't want weeds. So if I plant densely in my garden, I will be able to grow more compact, and it'll be one, less weeds, and two, you're going to have so many more plants within that space. So I'm going to use every square inch to plant stuff. I'm going to show you more about square foot gardening as I get into more of my planning, which I'm going to have to plan like soon because the forecast shows that our snow is going to probably melt in like the next week. So I'm going to have to get going on actually starting planning my program to see where I want my garden, what I need, and everything. So I know what I can plant per square foot. So it's amazing. The next principle is grow up vertically. This just simply means that tiny plants that you get, like pole beans, even tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, melons, anything that grows on a vine, you can grow vertically up, grow up. That is gonna save you more space for more plants. So I'm excited to figure out what kind of trellising that I'm gonna use this year, just because I'm going to be, I know I'm gonna have cucumbers and they run all over the place. So I wanna get them growing up. The third principle that I'm gonna talk about is the Mel's mix, and not to use garden dirt. So in this book, simply amazing, I'm telling you, there is a mixture that Mel Bartholomew created, Mel's mix. It is 1/3 compost, 1/3 peat moss, and 1/3 vermiculite. I'm not really sure what vermiculite is quite yet, but I am going to learn. I'm going to figure it out. But I know that I'm gonna have to have all this mixture to have the best soil for my garden because I want to succeed in the garden this year. All right, number 4 principle is grow your garden close to your home. I was going to show you the beginning of this video. I was gonna actually start it outside. However, I forgot my boots at home at work, and it's down the hill. It's not really close to the house, but it's not miles away either. So I can still see it from the house. When you are able to see your garden from the window of your house, you'll enjoy it. Not only you can see everything that's growing in there, you'll be able to enjoy it from your house on a rainy day, anything like that. And you don't want to trump back and forth to a long ways to get your stuff. If it's close to your house, you won't have to walk as far. Number 5 principle, grow shallow. The book states you can grow most vegetables, most anything, most flowers, most anything in 6 inches of soil. I have heard that carrots, some root vegetables might need a little bit more, but most generally all vegetables and flowers can grow in 6 inches of soil. So your garden beds can literally be 6 inches of soil. So grow shallow. Sounds good, right? All right. Number 6, fertilizer is not needed. So you don't have to fertilize. You'll have your compost, and you'll have your vermiculite, and you'll have your peat moss. That's your fertilizer. So you don't have to spend any extra money to be buying extra fertilizer. So there you go. Number 7 principle is keep aisles between the boxes narrow. You don't want, unless that's what you have to do, you don't want if you have 2 boxes, you don't want them so far apart that you have all these weeds and you have to mow between it and whatever. Do 2 feet, 3 feet even. I'm thinking on doing 3 feet between my boxes, and eventually, probably not this year, but eventually I'm going to have it covered with like wood chips or something to keep the weeds down, which will make it so much easier to be able to get in there, so we don't have to mow, so we don't have to pull weeds. That's what I want. Number 8 principle is be stingy with seeds. Don't just throw the seeds in there and call it a day. Be able to put it in each space. The spacing is going to be a little bit different with square foot gardening. So what I learned is when you have like tomatoes, broccoli, those bigger plants, it's going to be 1 seed per square foot. For carrots, that's a different story. Carrots, you will be able to put 16 seeds, 16 plants in 1 square foot in the garden. That's 16. That's great. So a lot of times what I do is I just drizzle out those carrot seeds and call it a day. And maybe that's probably why my carrots don't do well. But if I know that I can fit 16 seeds in 1 square foot, then I'm going to put 16 seeds in there, and hopefully everything should succeed and be great, right? That's what I'm thinking. So this way you don't have to thin them out. You don't have to go back down there and thin them out and whatever. You should be able to know that how many plants can be in each square foot per plant. So the program that I'm using, it's called the Garden Planner. It's by the Almanac, and I will share that in another video. And I can also share the link with you here. But you can form your whole garden, and you can, plan it all out. But then there is a special setting that if you want a square foot garden, you click that setting, and it's going to tell you how many plants can go into that square foot per plant. Well, depending on the plant, what kind of plant it is. So I thought that was pretty awesome, because it's going to be, it will make my planning a little easier, which will be great. Okay, number 9 principle is plant in the squares. The premise of this is the square foot gardening. You're going to have a grid. So if you have a 4x4 foot garden bed, you're going to have 16 square feet in that bed. You're going to divide them all out into squares. So for like tomatoes, as I said before, tomatoes, broccoli, peppers, the bigger plants, that 1 plant will go into that square. Whereas the carrots will have 16 plants in each square. So plant within those squares, you lay it all out, you grid it all out, and you keep those grids right there all times for next year. Makes sense, right? Awesome. And then number 10, the 10th principle is rotate crops. I rotate crops, I'm assuming because my gardens are just kind of wonky and I never grow anything in the same place, let alone I have to be in the same yard year after year. But I'm working on rotating the crops, have succession planning. I'm gonna be starting my carrots, my beets, my radishes here coming soon, hopefully April. That's my hope, with no snow and whatever. But then in that bed, after those harvest, then I can start other plants. And so it'll be a rotation. The rotation is going to help put different nutrients into the soil that's going to help the next plants and the next plants and the next plants. So that's what it is. The square foot gardening method, I think, is going to be a great method. There are so many different types of methods out here, but I'm going to try this one because I have tried other ones and they don't seem to really do well for me. So this time around, I'm going to try this. I'm hoping that it's going to work out well. And if all else fails, I'll try a different method next year. But this year, I am going to build raised beds and I'm going to do square foot gardening. So I hope all of these principles have given you a little bit more information about square foot gardening. And if you want to order this book, I will leave in the description, I'll leave the link. And I hope everybody is having a great day.